Chat, what's happening? Welcome to Atlanta, the A. The city too busy to hate, a place where dreams come true and so do nightmares. This is the Black Mecca, a global hub for culture, music, and money. But underneath that shiny surface, there's a whole other city, a city of struggle, hustle, and survival, and it's at the intersection of those two worlds that our story begins. A story that put not just a man, but an entire culture on trial. Tonight we're diving deep into the case of Jeffrey Williams, better known as Young Thug, and the sprawling Fulton County RICO indictment against his collective YSL. Now, for those who don't know, RICO stands for the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's a law designed to take down the mob, to prosecute not just individual crimes, but the entire criminal enterprise. The prosecution's whole case hinged on one question. Is YSL Young Stoner Life, the record label that changed the sound of modern music? Or is it Young Slime Life, a violent criminal street gang responsible for murder, robbery, and mayhem? The answer would determine whether a generational artist would walk free or spend the rest of his life in a cage. But before the international fame, before the headlines and the courtroom drama, you gotta understand the soil. Jeffrey Williams wasn't born a superstar. He was born in the struggle. One of 11 children growing up in the Jonesboro South Projects, on the south side of Atlanta. Cleveland Avenue. For outsiders, it's just a name on a map. For those who lived it, it's a world unto itself. A place where poverty and opportunity are next-door neighbors. This environment, this pressure cooker, is what forged Young Thug. His sound, that unpredictable, melodic, and often bizarre flow, wasn't just an artistic choice, it was a reflection of his reality. He was creating a new language, a new way to express the chaos and the creativity of the world he came from. He built YSL from this very ground up, a band of brothers who shared the same hunger and the same vision. Fast forward to May 9th, 2022. The world wakes up to the news. Young Thug and 27 other YSL members are indicted on 56 counts in a massive RICO case. The trial that followed felt endless. It became a spectacle, one of the longest and most expensive in Georgia's history. Reporters documented every bizarre moment, from defendants passing drugs to their lawyers in court to wild testimony that seemed straight out of a movie. News channels broadcast the proceedings every single day. This wasn't just a trial. It was the fight of his life. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. At the center of the defense was Thug's lawyer, Brian Steele, a bulldog who fought tooth and nail. The pressure reached a boiling point when Steele was dramatically held in contempt of court and sentenced to jail time himself. He alleged that the prosecutor and the judge had an improper private meeting with a key witness. It was an explosive moment that exposed the raw, high-stakes battle happening both in front of and behind the cameras. This case also put the entire genre of hip-hop on the stand, with prosecutors, led by the high-profile DA Fonnie Willis, controversially using Thug's own lyrics as evidence of criminal conspiracy, sparking a nationwide debate about artistic freedom and justice. However, after years of legal warfare, on Halloween of 2024, a bombshell dropped. A plea deal was reached. Thug accepted what's known as an Alford plea. Now pay attention, because this is key. An Alford plea is a rare and complex move. It means you maintain your innocence. You don't admit to any crime, but you acknowledge that the prosecution has enough evidence to likely get a conviction at trial. The judge granted Thug a sentence of time served plus 15 years of strict probation. The fight was over, but the questions were just beginning. Now, to understand the firestorm that followed that plea deal, we gotta rewind the tape. Back to 2015. At the time, Young Thug and his idol Lil Wayne had major industry friction. Thug was poised to be the next big thing, and he made no secret of his ambition, even planning to name his album Carter 6 Inches in a direct challenge to Wayne's legendary They Carter series. Adding fuel to the fire was Birdman, Wayne's estranged mentor, who was publicly championing Thug. It was a messy, public, and deeply personal conflict. This beef wasn't just on wax, it spilled into the real world. After a performance in Atlanta, Lil Wayne's tour bus gets shot up on the highway in Cobb County. A YSL affiliate named Jimmy Winfrey, also known as Pee Wee Roscoe, was eventually arrested, convicted, and sent to prison for the shooting. This incident became a cornerstone of the prosecution's RICO case years later. Exhibit A in their argument that YSL was a violent gang. But that's just the backstory. Here's the real reason your timeline is on fire right now. In the wake of the plea deal, an old, previously unseen interrogation clip from 2015 resurfaced online. It shows a younger thug without a lawyer talking to investigators about the tour bus incident and mentioning Pee Wee Roscoe. In the blink of an eye, the internet exploded. The word snitch was everywhere. In street culture, talking to law enforcement is the ultimate taboo, and the perception of cooperation, true or not, can be a death sentence for your reputation. So let's break it down. From a hood perspective, here's what folks are weighing. First, paperwork talks. The code of the streets says the ultimate proof is in the documents. If your name is on a piece of paper as an informant, it's a done deal. The question everyone was asking, does this video count as paperwork? Second, context matters. Thug's defenders argue he was a young man in a high-pressure situation, trying to talk his way out of trouble, not put someone else in it. He wasn't under oath, he wasn't testifying. But in the court of public opinion, nuance gets lost. Third, the system is formal. Legally, a snitch or a cooperator is someone who has a formal deal with the government to provide testimony in exchange for leniency. That never happened here. And finally, and maybe most importantly, Roscoe's own word holds weight. Pee Wee Roscoe himself, the man at the center of it all, came out publicly and stated unequivocally that young Thug never snitched on him. For many, that closed the book on the whole debate. So did young Thug snitch? The facts on paper say no. There was no cooperator deal. The interrogation clip was never used against Roscoe in court, and the man himself denies it. But this story was always bigger than one clip. It's about the blurred lines between art and life, the immense pressure of the justice system, and how quickly a narrative can spin out of control in the digital age. Thug walked out of the courthouse a free man, but the case leaves a long shadow over Atlanta and the entire music industry, forcing us all to question the price of fame and the true meaning of justice in America.